Today I'm finding all shiny grass types in the Paldea region. Here is all the shiny grass types I'm going to find today. First up, I looked on my map and there was a fungus outbreak. I began knocking out 60. It took some time. Before even getting there, you would not believe me, I found it before even the first 30. It is right about now that I found it. I threw a love ball and it worked. The fungus is called Rufus. She has a bold nature and I then evolved it into an amungus. I found a sunflower outbreak, and while I was getting to the knocking out of 60, I was super lucky or super unlucky, as you would say, to face on this beautiful pink shiny ice cube. As you saw, night was coming and the sunflower spawns got really slow, so I went over to the olive garden area and looked for a shiny small leaf. I walked around in the fields looking for the small leaves, but before you knew it, I had faced yet again, twice in a row, as under this tree there was a little beautiful pink squirrel in a shiny skirt. They have come yet again, and I go back to look for the shiny sunflower. And before you know, I was lucky enough to get this shiny liligan. It was about to run away, but luckily it didn't go too far out. I was very nervous. It is a very beautiful shiny, and Liligan is actually one of my favorite Pokemon, as I've used it many times. I thought that the heal ball would match perfectly and then used it. Liligan is very beautiful. She has an impish nature and the uncommon mark. I learned later that day that Sunflower's pre-evolution Sunkern was easiest to hatch if you wanted shiny. So I dropped the outbreak and began looking for the next shiny Pokemon. And as I said, Lilligant has the uncommon mark. It was my first mark shiny and only one of the few I got in this video. I moved on to find the shiny Hoppip. It took some time, and after knocking him out, I began a route up and down the hills. And before you know it, I had found a shiny Hoppip. Hoppip has a beautiful green shiny, but its evolution's Jumpluff have a beautiful pink shiny. Therefore, I caught it in a heal ball. Hoppip got the name of Paldeas. Next I found the outbreak of Deerling. And after some time and the weather getting better, I was very lucky yet again to actually spot the shiny. The only thing changing on Deerling is the yellow flower on top becoming pink. And after some time, a beautiful Deerling showed up. I caught him in a heal ball and named him Derply. Derply, he has a lax nature. I began hunting shiny Steenie at this Steenie outbreak. The way I found out what shiny Pokemon I was hunting next was switching which outbreaks was on the map using the day skip method, and then just hunt whatever grass type there was. Steenie was actually very quick shiny, and after some time I was lucky enough to found one. Steenie has a beautiful pink shiny, and it's actually very easy to spot. I still have to find Steenie's pre-evolution boundary, as I yet haven't got that yet in my Pokédex. Steenie got the name Stella. She's a very beautiful Pokemon. She was caught on a heal ball. Stella has an hasty nature. Next up was Toadstool, the very beautiful conversion form of Tentacool. Toadstool have a very beautiful shiny where it turns all white. It wasn't the best place I have got this outbreak, as the spawns were very slow and there were way too much of any of the other Pokemon. So I was actually very lucky to that I didn't face on this outbreak. Very little time to find it, so therefore there are very much gameplay, as it was actually nearly just the time it took. Before, not after a long time, she showed up. I called her High Lord Toad, a reference to one of my favorite fantasy series. After she gave me some trouble, I decided to call her in a premiere ball. She has a quirky nature. My next target was Shroomish. This was one of the hunts that felt very long, but was actually not that long. Not long after I began this hunt, I was very lucky enough to get this shiny Shroomish. This is a very good example of how my route was while hunting this outbreak. I caught him in a safari ball. His name is Ketchup, and he has a naughty nature. I then begin the hunt where I will find the most shinies. I began knocking out the Skidoo, and I began looping around in the area. But it was a very risky route I had as I flew away from the many Pokemon spawning. So it was a high risk game, and you can actually see I was very unlucky, as here I failed the first shiny Pokemon of this video. But I was very lucky because not long after I reclaimed a shiny by finding this shiny Hoppip. As I have already caught Hoppip, I caught this one in a quick ball. I then began looking for Skidoo again, as I was determined to find it. It took about an hour before this last Skidoo turned up. When I say an hour, it's from when I started this hunt, so I found 3 shinies in that hour. Skidoo has a beautiful white shiny. Her name is Nico. She has a modest nature. The tumbleweed Pokemon Gremlin was next. It was a little bit hard as the sandstorm really messed up the view. After some time, I found him. You need to be careful, because Ramblin can get hurt by the sandstorm. I threw a nest ball at him. His name is Krabs, and he has a sassy nature. Next was the black olive, but firstly, I was very unlucky, or lucky, as you would say, and faced yet again. But it was an unlucky face, as one of the Pokemon that spawn here, if you didn't know, very much is useless in one of the genders. Because when I looked, there was a dumb, shiny male bee on my screen. Not what I needed for the video, so he was caught in a quick ball. Mobius has a quirky nature. Not long after, I was very lucky to get the black olive I wanted. She got my only friend ball. Friend balls is one of the very hard Pokeballs to get. Her name is Flora, and she has a quirky nature. Next was the spice Pokemon with big pants, scarlet. I found the shiny while being in the snowstorm. It is very noticeable even in the snowstorm. I caught her in a quick ball and named her Spice. Spice has an impish nature. Next I looked for 2 dragon apples. Applin has a very beautiful green shiny. Actually, a lot of the grass types has green shinies, and they are all very beautiful. I needed 2 that have a split evolution. I found the first one here. This apple was caught in a dusk ball. After catching the first one, I keep looking around for the second. And not long after, in nearly the same place, I found the second shiny Applin. The second shiny Applin was also caught in a dusk ball. One is named Appy, and the other's name is Floppy. Next clip here is actually raw footage of when I go over to the bomber snow outbreak. Just look. If you expected me to find a shiny bomber snow, you're wrong. Because up here was a beautiful and cool shiny Makuhita. Her name is Makil. Next, I kept looking for the shiny bomber snow as I hadn't got that one yet. It was actually a very good outbreak, even though it was in very little space. And after not that much time, I found this shiny bomber snow. It's actually very noticeable. She was caught in a dive ball. Her name is Snowman, even though it should be Snowwoman, and she has a brave nature. Next, I looked for the little one, the shiny Snowball. I found this one very quickly, like I did with the bomber snow and the Makuhita. Was found very quickly. He was caught in a premier ball, as it is a very white ball with his white body. His name is Pines. He has a naughty nature. Then was the tropical flying dinosaur Tropius. I looked around here in the outbreak around these ruins. Before long, I was lucky enough to find this shiny Tropius. I put him to sleep as it would be easier to catch him thereafter. He was caught in a nest ball. I named him Tropical. I go to the desert looking for a shiny capsicum. The outbreak was near the city, so I could just run in the city and then out again, getting tons of new spawns. Capsicum has a yellow shiny, and is one of the shinies that actually fit very well with the His name is Crispy. And he has a careful nature. Next up, I go further out into the desert, looking for a shiny cactus girl. I look around the outbreak, and before you know it, I was lucky enough to find a shiny cacnea. I wanted to catch this red shiny in the Pokeball, and it took a try or two. Cacnea is actually a very good shiny. She is mild of nature, and her friends call her Spicy or Spiky. I began one of 2 Masuda hunts, this time for the grass shiny of this generation, Sprigagito. I hatched the eggs while running around on the entire map. Here I was at the lake. I was actually really lucky with this hunt, as it only took 67 eggs. And when I got to the desert, I hatched this beautiful grass cat. It's actually my second grass cat I've hatched this generation. His name is Grab Cat. Then I looked for the other shiny grass type with big pants. That Pokemon is Lawrence's. I think it only took 3 or 4 picnic resets before I was lucky enough to get the shiny. I caught her in the Premier Ball. But it broke out of the first, so I had to use the second one. She has the very beautiful name of Big Pants. That is what she has. If you enjoyed this video so far, please go down just underneath the video and subscribe. I switched my game out so I could play the Scarlet to find the exclusive Paradox Pokemon of Group 1net. Down in the depths of Area 0 there are so many spawns, so it didn't take very long before I found it. It is actually the same shiny palette as the Pokemon is based on, Among Us. was found relatively quickly. It was caught using a quick ball, as I didn't wish my Pokemon to faint. Its name is Fungi. Still in Pokemon Scarlet, I took the AFK hunt for shiny Bounsweet. I used my Blood Moon as a Luna, as it was high enough to get up there. Here, my Blood Moon as a Luna didn't want to attack, and that means I have found a shiny. Her name is Spawn. I still had time left on my sandwich and go to North Beach looking for a shiny for Mantis. I was lucky not to find a duplicate shiny, because you would not believe it, after only a few minutes of getting over there and looking for the shiny for Mantis, I actually found it. You need to be a little careful that you don't miss it. Next up, I spent an hour or longer looking for a Leafeon outbreak. It was so difficult to find. But when I found it, it only took a few minutes before I got this one. And I was lucky. It was even marked. It has a very difficult mark to say in a short period of time, but its title is Leafly Dysphasie. Remember what I said about Sunken earlier? Yeah. It was time to the second Masuda hunt yet again. I was lucky enough. It only took me 39x before I was lucky enough to get this very beautiful shiny Sunkern. Now I only had a shiny petal left. I named the shiny Sunkern Sunny, and she has an element nature. As I just said, the only shiny left for me was Petalil. It's actually funny, as one of the first shinies I found was a Lilligant. Petalil have a very sudden shiny, so you need to go up close to it to see if it is actually shiny. I used a grass shiny sandwich to hunt for it and got it in very short time. Her name is Opalil. She has a rash nature and the uncommon mark. I still had time on my shiny grass sandwich, and not to just don't use it, I went to the new DLC area to hunt the shiny grass starters. Firstly, I went to the beach and was very lucky to get a shiny Grookey. I caught her in the Ultra Ball. The name is Grog. And he has a naive nature and the lunchtime mark. Secondly, I go for a shiny Bulbasaur, which I actually found very quick. I found him and caught him in a dusk ball. His name is Bulba. I had very little time left and decided to go for Trico. I was super lucky and actually also found this. I caught him in a dusk ball. Now the only thing left is to evolve the Pokemon. This is all the Pokemon I decided to get for this challenge. Now I only need to evolve the last few. Hop into Skiploom. Skiploom into Jumpluff. Dealing into Soulspot. Has to learn Stomp before it can evolve. And then Stine evolved into Sabrina. Toadstool evolved into Toadstool. Skidoo evolved into a Go-Go. I need to walk 1,000 steps for Bramble before I can evolve it into a Bramble Guest. Then, Bramble evolved into Bramble Guest. Scarlet evolved into Dollet. And Dollet into Upper Lever. One apple evolved into an apple pie. And another into a cool dragon thing. One cacti to another. baby cat to a teen, and thereafter to an adult. And lastly, a seed into a flower. I have got all 40 shiny grass types in Paldea. There's not the untamable shiny locked legendary. Here's all the shiny Pokemon that I got, where every space is a day that gone by. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, it would mean a lot to me.